this meeting to order of the City Commission of Rio Grande City, Wednesday, July 15th, 2015, approximately 6:01 p.m. At the Commission Chambers here at City Hall, 101 South Washington Street, Rio Grande City, Texas. First business orders, item 1, call to order, invocation, and pledge of allegiance. We have Mr. Ray Ramirez can lead us in the invocation, followed by Commissioner non-pledge of allegiance.
Bow our heads. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here this evening. I ask you to please guide us as we make decisions for the city, for the community, and I ask you to please clear our minds and so we can make the right decision. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Next business orders, item B, Ms. Guerrero, please do roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Villarreal.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garza.
Here.
Commissioner Salinas.
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
Commissioner Jones is absent. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. For the record, do we have anybody signed up for public forum?
No, sir.
For the record, no one signed up for public forum. Next business orders, item D, discussion and possible action to select a mayor pro temp. Any discussion?
Mayor, I would like to recommend Mr. Hernan Garza, Mayor Pro Tem.
Second. Okay, we have a motion to recommend Commissioner Garza for mayor pro tem. We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next item, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Next business orders, item E, departmental reports.
Mayor and Commissioners, in your packet you have the reports from different departments. I do want to call on our city secretary on her report on the elections. I know we didn't have the canvassing, but you do have in your packet, there's a memo from her. With recommendations that we add additional staff to train in the elections and to start working on our own list of voter registrations in the city. So we've already started on that, Mayor. We're also looking at other staff within the city to go to training for municipal and school elections that will be held in Austin in December. Holly, I want to add anything to your report?
No, that's about it. It was particularly stressful, this election. I don't know if I guess it was just the untimeliness of it being a special election, not being prepared for it. I do think the next election being held at the new city hall will be much more orderly, more easily controlled, and should hopefully not have nearly as many problems as we experienced. The election itself ran smoothly. It was just the drama elsewhere that caused a few problems, but I think we're going to handle that next time around.
Mayor, I would like for the city for us to have our own list, certify our own list, and also purchase our own machines, voting machines as well. I would like for us to do that instead of having to depend on the county for those machines.
I brought that issue up to you, Ms. Holly, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and you had said that those machines are coming from an outside
The machines themselves are just shells.
Okay.
That is just the big bins. What the important part of that are the brains, which comes from the election systems and software, which I order to be programmed and which come to me, then go to the county law. So using their equipment, I think it's just like a box, and then we put it to work. If you want to buy equipment, we can certainly look into that. But since the county received grant funds from the state to purchase equipment for its own use, for use of the other political subdivisions. It sort of seems, you know, I mean, the last election that we, I think it was the 2012 election that we actually leased equipment, and it's costing upwards of $10,000, plus all the other additional expenses on top of that. And to me, it really does not make a whole lot of sense not to use the equipment that's available, because it is just a shell. Everything that's important about the county, that's done through my office, so I don't think that's a problem. Using their staff, that might.
The list for sure, you know, we need to certify.
The list, yes.
There are a lot of boards out there that, especially like, you know, like family members of mine, sisters, for one, that pay city taxes that's within city limits, but it was not a part of the list that the county provided, so.
And
there are a lot of
I remember
boards out
that
there that were not
happened
allowed
last
to
year.
vote, you know, so it's just not fair for those people that
Well-
come out to vote and they're turned away, so it's not.
She should have been allowed to vote. She should have voted provisionally. I know this happened at the previous election. And I don't know, I know we voted her provisionally, and she should have been added to the list. I don't know why it wasn't. But we do need to start work.
So what's the first step to make that happen?
Well, I did talk to Kevin Pagan, the city attorney in McAllen, and I would like to further discuss the issue with him and with their planning department, see just exactly what steps they take to ensure that they have a good list. And maybe we need to go visit him, I don't know. But we need to start there, and then I think Ms. Bates has already looked into a master address list.
We've been working with the appraisal district and also in the inventory of all our water meters, matching those with the master street addressing guide, and seeing where there are discrepancies, where there are mismatch of addresses, making sure that when the time comes, everyone that is living in the city can be registered and be able to vote in the city, and that list will, once we certify it, or this council certifies it, we will submit it to the county. And that's going to be, they already have a city map that shows all our streets, and now it will be matching those names from those streets that they will have. Because anybody calls them, they will have all the information there. So we've started on that.
You purchased that software a couple years ago, or gave us the boundaries.
Yes.
Does that come into play? Is that
And
all
we
now?
use that, I use that as a resource at the election. But people really are not informed as to where the city boundaries are at all. So I think if we like put maps on our city website and Facebook and let people know.
The access channel as well.
Yes, and let them know, because many people, I have had many people come to my office to vote. They were not aware, they weren't in the city meeting. So I think we need to do a better job of getting people informed.
And that's also part of the program, besides inventorying and crisscrossing all these addresses, is doing a massive and very aggressive outreach and invitation to the public to let them know you can vote, or this is the boundary. That all departments are going to be working and taking that message out and having neighborhood meetings, going to presentations with organizations and mail outs, maps, going to have, community meetings, and just letting them know. Either you're not registered, if you are registered, do you know where you have to vote?
Everyone's mail says Rio Grande City, Texas, even if,
In La Bonito, it says Rio Grande City.
East is out Bonito. And people really are not informed as to what that means.
So are we looking at a full-time election administrator, or is that what we're?
We will be proposing it in the budget. Yes, sir. I also want to touch on the boys and girls. July 31st is the last date. Our lease is up at the facility, and also the last week of July, staff will be doing inventory, storing, taking care. We've already started communication with the school district to get ready for the after-school program. Just to let you know, July 31st is the last day. I do want to also touch on Parks and Rec. I think it's a very successful Gus and Goldie program. Mr. Morales, we have a report there. You're coming up with your last 2 weeks or 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am, we're coming up with we still got our fourth session, so the 31st, and then our last one in August. I think right now, we have, I think it's 60 kids, 6 to 80 kids. Our fourth session, we have about 30 that have registered as well. So it's still there, it's still open. We already ordered the AEP, we have the box already with us. And everything still looks good. Everything looks promising. I know right now also we're fixing the fields. We already ordered the sand. Thank you for Mr. Fernandez that he lent us the vehicle to dump the sand there. It's already been set. And there's a gentleman, and excuse me, I don't have the paper in front of me. He works for the district, and he's the one that implemented the sand and leveled it out. So everything
Mr.
looks good.
Bento, right Bento.
Mr. Bento, yes, sir.
I know there's been a lot of videos going on social media of parents getting their kids where they had never been in a pool or had never died from the poolside, and there's a lot of videos going out there. Even I know some of our own employees, their kids have been in the program, and you can just see how excited they are. It's a very good program. Hopefully we can repeat it again next year. I do also want to touch on Sarah Hernandez. She's been working hard right after Freedom Fest. She's already working on Freedom Fest again for next year. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. It was a wonderful event. And I'd like just for her to share real quickly on some of the events that the city's planning for upcoming year. Sarah.
Okay, hello everyone. For this coming year, the first event that we're gonna have coming up shortly, it will be the Halloween bash that the Boys and Girls Club did. So we're starting some early phase planning on that. So I know that people are used to this event, so we want to keep it going. After that, we want to have a Winter Texan Appreciation. That's when the Winter Texans start coming in. We'll be attending an expo in the convention center in January with EDC. So during that expo, I want to extend an invitation for them to come and have an appreciation day, possibly in February. Then we'll also host in June with the University of St. Mary our second commemoration. We had one recently in June for Adrian Milan, so we're going to work on that. And then tentatively on July 1st, we'll have our second annual Freedom Fest. And hopefully in November, we'll have a Taco Fest, which will also be an annual event for this.
These are annual events that are going to be promoted and put out there outside of the community to bring them in. This is under the hotel occupancy tax, making sure that we keep our hotels filled, and then tourism, people that come in and visit our relatives have something to do in the city. I know we have other departments that are present here, and if there's any questions, Mayor knows.
Could I just add something to my report?
Yes,
On
sir.
the four-way stop between San Antonio and Kansas City, everything's ready for July, being set up for July 31st. Is all our warning signs that we put up, and I'm just waiting for the signs to come in for on LEDs, stop signs, so everything's ready to go for July 31st. Okay, okay. This was done before we had all this.
Thank you.
We also have our guard. Yes. Anything else?
Anything else? No.
Fire department has been working with the DPS. I know we met with Commander Rodriguez. We should be expecting every week a new group coming in. Chief, you want to go ahead and see the preparations for DPS?
We have DPS coming back. We're doing operations. They got some funding, so yesterday at 3 o'clock, they arrived with their command unit, their exec command for the communications. They're going to have 12 guys per shift per day, besides 2 or 3 officers doing security on units. I went over there this afternoon, I saw 2, and it's really packed with DPS out there. Communication individuals putting up the trailer system out there, so I believe they're going to have 2 choppers or 3 choppers doing operations throughout the whole day, 24 hours.
They're gonna stand to when?
Well, I was talking to the supervisor there at location, Tom Spencer, and he said that they might be, they don't know yet, they just deployed them out there, so they might be staying there for a month or maybe 6 months. So, we're trying to get an MOU with them going so that way they can be paid enough for the services. Right. That's what we're trying to do. But they'll be out there for a couple of months. So we're going to have security on that side. And they're patrolling the 3167 quite a bit, all the way to the south. But
No, the mayor, you met with the commander also, and I stressed the importance of keeping with the community and culture.
In fact, yes, we met with Commander Rodriguez, and main concern there, or at least the point, was to have a community involvement, also stressing the relations with our local law enforcement as well. And he did mention that they would make accessible some of their equipment to, should we ever be in need of some of the equipment, whether it's helicopter or whether it's other services. So main thing is there to establish a good working relationship with them, and of course to not stress our budget, so they were gonna take care of all the utilities at the airport as well. And Ms. Baez was ironing out those details. But again, and that's something we can continue in the future, is what can we do while they're here, and at the same time incorporate some type of orientation with them, with our own law enforcement, and meet the officers that are gonna be patrolling here our streets.
Chief, are y'all able to communicate with DPS through radio, or are they working on a different frequency?
No, they were able to communicate with them. They just migrated to an 800 megahertz system several months back, maybe a year. And as a matter of fact, last week they placed some equipment at the fire station because their officers, patrolmen, that are on units, they don't have the ability to communicate out of the way from West Nicole, because that's where the base station's at. So they were using the old system. So right now they play something that's 800, so we're able to monitor them. Obviously, we cannot listen to the conversations because that's limited since it's law enforcement. So, but we're able to communicate with the helicopters and the patrol units in case we need to.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that he added was they're still working, and Chief Castillo, if y'all remember some time back, the city would get vehicles from TPS donated, and that was kind of put aside, and we're now selling them. I think he mentioned he was again going to start working on that.
Yes, he said that they were working on that, and, so they can give the vehicles that they have. And, we'll see what that's going. They're gonna push for that, so pending legislation, which is good.
Be great if we can access some of those units. I understand some of them are in pristine conditions.
Some are, you can get a chance to basically go look what's out there, and then kind of handpick which ones you want, and then you come back and then return the check. And some are very good, some are really run down, but we have a good majority of those working that we've had for a couple of years. Some of them have turned out really good.
Thank you.
And I just want to put Norma, and I think you're still bringing recognition a lot to our city library throughout the state. You've been invited to present and be part of panels. Would you like to share that too?
Yes, it's just the state library has a library and workforce task force, and I was asked to be a co-chairman this year, so I'm very excited about that. And at the upcoming state conference in the spring, I've also been asked to be a speaker on serving Hispanic communities. And also with the task force, with the workforce, that's really helping us out. I'm also, right now we are in another committee who's looking into bringing broadband into our community, affordable broadband. So we'll probably, Belinda and I will be discussing that a little more in the future as we roll that out. And we had a very successful summer reading program. We had over 158 kids signed up, and we'll continue to have programs. Tomorrow we're having Medina Electric. They're going to come and bring their trucks and talk to the kids about electricity and so forth. So our programs have been well attended, and we're very happy. We had a good partnership with the school district. On Fridays we would have a program followed by lunch for the children. So I invite you to come and visit us whenever you have time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holtz.
And lastly, I just want to state that the Weedy Lot Task Force of Law Enforcement have been out there just this month. 84 citations, violation notices were issued out, and you can see some of the bigger lots being now cleaned up, and as this drug season continues, this highways can, talk about fire hazard. They're on it. I know they'll be going to school for the food counters in preparation of the vendor ordinance also. Unless anyone else has any other questions for the departments, those are the departments I'm highlighting at this meeting, so.
Are there any other departments that would like to share? All right, let's continue. Next business orders, item 2, consent agenda. Is all matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the commission and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. 2 items, approval of departmental travel requests and approval of EDC action from meeting of July 14, 2015.
I believe there was no action on B, Mr. Mayor, and for item A, I so move that we approve travel request.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I'll send the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed, sign, motion carries. Next, business and orders, item 3, ordinances. Second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2015-6, revising the vendor ordinance.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is the second reading, much needed ordinance, as even at noon hour, some of the children along 83 on the street, basically soliciting from vehicles donations, making it very dangerous. You know how our ABC is very congested in the lunch hours and at 5. This ordinance would kind of request for permits on garage and yard sales, solicitation from vehicles, mobile food vendors, and food plate sales. There are different, those are 4 different types of permits, ranging from $10 all the way to $150. Some of them are for a year, some of them for 4 events during the year, and there's penalty associated with each one. I know that we specifically have a problem with that a lot of businesses have complained, and it is the one next to, I think it's in front of the school district. They've gotten to a point that it's just not one time, it's just 3-4 times a week. Much needed work is here. Mr. Milan is here, if y'all have any further additional questions.
Mr. Milan, should this be approved, what is the plan to make sure that people are aware of this ordinance? And
Yes, sir. Mayor, Commissioner, citizens of Rio Grande City. Like I said in the past, this is not about denying permits, it's about doing it in an orderly manner. As we can see the risk of having children on the right of way. As you can see, if many food sales without any compliance or inspection at all, this will bring all into compliance. Obviously, we need to educate people that now there's only an ordinance, but the law now, that they need to adhere. Again, it allows for them to have a permit, but only, they will get it based upon everybody's safe, with vests, some type of insurance also, so that in case of an incident, God forbid, they're covered.
The only thing, Mr. Milan, is about educating people. I know this is a new ordinance, a lot of people might be caught by surprise, and might not know that it's going to be implemented, but again, just to try to, I guess, through PSA or through social media or something.
Correct.
Get the word out there that this is going to be happening.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We're gonna have hearings, we're gonna distribute flyers, ordinance, copies of the ordinance. We're gonna have staff work on weekends possibly, and I'll volunteer hours myself on weekends at night, whenever they don't expect inspectors to go out on the streets, we'll be there. And again, this is to do it in a educated manner. They will be informed. We'll be issuing citations right after, obviously, we'll let everybody know before we start work.
so really it's going to come down to educating the public and making sure that they're aware.
In other words, you won't see that many kids running around the median asking for $1. If you buy a plate, you'll know that it's safely inspected, or at least, orderly manner, I think. And you don't see retailers anymore as a business, that are doing it every weekend or sometimes every day in some areas. Now they'll have to come to City Hall, it's a $10 fee only. And it allows
example, also for fundraisers, let's say school district is, whatever particular team is, making a plate sale to raise funds for whatever purpose, it also has to come to City Hall, to also get permission, permit.
In other words, by the time you see them on the streets, they'll be informed, you'll see them properly, wait.
But there are plans if they're hosting those fundraisers on school grounds as well.
Oh, that's on school grounds, that's,
Just trying to clarify that.
that wouldn't apply.
Food plate sales are basically an annual permit of $75, not an annual permit, it's a registration of $75, and then every year they renew it for $20. And they can have 3 days of consecutive, selling their food plates. That's just the food plate sales for organizations.
I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion.
Also in the motion.
We have a
Thank you,
second.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Sign motion carries. Next, business and orders, item B, first reading and approval of ordinance number 2015-7, amending the 2014-2015 general, special, and enterprise funds budget.
Mayor and Commissioners, this year we came across unexpected costs in terms of professional services and a bargain from the buy with the building. So we do need to move funds out of our fund balance into our budget to make sure we cover those expenses that we have the money to finish the rest of the budget year to September 30th. Mr. Science has provided you a handout where it outlines where the monies are going into. The forfeiture fund will also be increasing the revenue. They've had a substantial increase. The chief is needing to buy some watchdog cameras where right now they actually have to stop at the substation, go in, upload the video. That can take some time. In this manner, it's going to be uploaded as they are nearing the area. We do have Mr. Jesus Vasquez and David to present this information. David.
The expenses, if you look at, there's an attachment with a watchdog invoice. What this will do is it will allow the officers to save time and not have to stop in substation to manually load the video. The original estimate had some boxes that would allow it to upload the video. This has come up with a method of using the existing city Wi-Fi to allow them to upload the data as they're driving up and down Main Street without having to restart the load again. This will save significant time, as well as it includes a package to archive the data as well. You want to give a little more information?
So, this what we're doing is we're gonna extend that Wi-Fi network that we have here in downtown. There's gonna be a gap that's gonna exist obviously between the device splits at. We're gonna have 2 access points at the substation, one outside, one inside. And what that's basically gonna do is the officer goes to the substation, leaves the vehicle on for the 5-10 minutes if they're in, grabbing your reports or the equipment. That way it's gonna start uploading into our servers. And that server information is actually going to be relayed upstairs. So as y'all recall, the previous virtualized server database that we have, it's going to be utilized again. And it's going to be used for the backups and service redundancy for all those archive data. So we're just putting a system that we already have in place and just getting more out of it. Then just keep coming out.
For budget amendment. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So you have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye opposed. Same sign. Motion does carry. Next business order is item 4, resolutions. Letter A, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2015-21, authorizing staff to close Lone Star National Bank account number 565022079, Style Star County HIDA Task Force.
Madam Commissioners, this is the housekeeping. I know we are trying to lessen the number of accounts as we do the reconciliation, and this has to do with the HIDA grant and the way that it's now being managed by the district attorney. Mr. Sines will provide more information.
City Commission, with the current HIDA agreement that we have between all of the organizations, we are now being directly reimbursed from the county. So this account is dormant and active, community fees, and we have to transfer $10 every month to kind of compensate for the fee. It hasn't been used in several years since we started being reimbursed directly from the VA. So at this time, our recommendation is to just eliminate those miscellaneous service charges every month and close the account.
Do we have any other accounts such as these in other areas?
We have already passed resolutions right in the late fall of last year where major housekeeping was done. This account recommendation came from the county. It's one of the last accounts. We do not believe we have any evidence.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion.
I second the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye opposed. Sign motion carries. Next item in orders, letter B. Section 4, letter B, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2015-22, authorizing the purchase and financing of a VoIP telephone system and internet network system for the new city hall.
Mayor, Commissioners, the city hall was assessed and it does have internet capacity, but it's with a coaxial. And in order to maintain connectivity at a rate that we can be able to download the programs and have the connectivity with the PD and the news report, it was necessary that we move to a fiber optic. I know they've been working diligently, Mrs. and David, with Time Warner. And now the VoIP and the data, there's two separate servers, one for telephone and one for all the information and the lines that go down to printers and faxes and desktops. David, I don't know if you want to add some additional information. We are looking at financing this. Again, it's one of those things that was in the budget. It is included now in our budget amendment, so you need to add anything? Okay.
No, not unless there's any specific questions. As Ms. Reyes mentioned, this pretty much is going to allow us to run an additional system which will handle all of our network traffic at the new facility. We are currently running on coaxial, and Time Warner is getting ready to install fiber throughout the entire building to give us that higher rate of speed. Also, the phone system, networking system, in order for us to continue to operate the new facility with the extensions here, we will require an additional server. So we will have two separate systems actually running at the same time. So that's pretty much all I have unless you have additional questions.
Yes, Mr. I have one question. Which option are you recommending that we approve? We have option 1, option 2 for financing. It's a 3 and a 4 year.
3 years.
3 years, so I'll be option 1.
Option 1, 3 years with 1% down, I believe is the best option. The interest is minimal. It comes up to about $4,000 for a 3-year window. The interest rate is very competitive. It comes up to an average rate of 2.92. So that is a very low interest rate for such a large purchase.
And to be clear, the labor is being done by?
The labor is actually being done through Computer Solutions after we reviewed several bids. We have a long proven track record with them. They currently maintain our system. They have a great response time, and we have many years of history with them.
That's the labor for the server, but we are doing all the in-house cabling.
Yes, we are actually going to be doing all of the cabling internally in-house.
So that's going to be in-house as far as.
Yeah, we'll be taking care of all the internal internet connections, I'll be handling that, so. And, they're gonna handle the network side of it.
motion to approve?
I'll say the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
You will need to mention the option one.
Which was option
That we are approving option one.
approved? Is to approve option one. We have a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye opposed. Sign motion carries. Next, business and orders item, or letter C, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2015-23, designating signatories on all city bank accounts.
Mayor, this is housekeeping, now that you are a new mayor, and we need to share in the duties of signing the checks, this is basically adding your name to all the bank accounts.
I think
Is that a
he needs-
must?
I think he needs to be here at least for 6 months before he can.
All right, we have a motion to
Second.
approve, we have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye opposed, sign motion carried. Next, business and order, item 5, contracts and agreements. Letter A, discussion and possible action to approve a partnership agreement with South Texas College regarding activities for the Boys and Girls Youth Club participants.
Mayor Commissioners, the South Texas College reached out to city and boys and girls wanting to partner in also in providing like a week camp at the college to expose children to the higher education, you know, see what's available and where they can be going to. They would provide activities and meals, and they needed to have a partnership in place in order to have that established. This is being prepared for next year's program, so they wanted to make sure they had it already in place. But I think it's a very good idea to have our children know the possibilities that they have with our community college.
What is the cost?
There is no cost.
Some cost?
I move we approve item 5 is presented.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll say the motion.
we have a second to approve. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye opposed, sign motion carries. Next, business and orders, letter B, discussion and possible action to approve a memorandum of understanding with TMC Head Start regarding services to be provided to TMC staff and children.
TMC needs to have this document in place, in order for our fire department that is already doing the services to continue doing it. I know, he's our assistant chief is here to explain a bit more what they do with the TMC sites.
Basically what we do is, we do fire inspections here, and this is throughout all the TMCs. We also do fire prevention weeks in every, we do it constantly every year, as well as when they have their meetings, they usually have meetings at once a year, twice on Saturday. They want fire prevention with the teachers. We'll give classes of fire safety classes, you know, how to show them extinguishers. Basically just what's fire. Oh, we do it we do it every county. This is one that we want to agree with, but we always do.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I'll say the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. Sign motion carries. Next, business and orders. Item 5, letter C, discussion and possible action to accept the engagement letter for audit services from Raul Hernandez and Company. Yes.
Mayor, at the last meeting, as you recall, we did terminate services with Raymond ourselves. They have been already notified. We have now proceeded to ask Mr. Raul Hernandez and Company to provide us a proposal, which is in your package. This company did the audit for the city back in 2006. They're familiar with our financing. They work very well with the city. They come highly recommended. Ms. Mary Barrera, our previous finance director, worked very well and recommends them. City Escobar is our neighbor, also uses them. Mr. Hernandez apologizes for not being able to be here. He's presenting right now before the B-Bill City Commission, so, you have there his peer review and his proposal. Our situation with the audit is critical. We are basically delinquent right now, so we need to, come back to compliance, and he has assured us he can do this within 3 months, being that he has familiarity with our financing. We feel that this is the best solution for the city at this time. He is asking for a 2-year engagement. This would be for the year ending 2014, and this coming year, that's going to be in September 30, 2015. He will be also providing technical assistance to our, basically, our finance department, and that will be free of charge.
The only issue I have is page 6 on the, is contracted. The sentence reads, if we elect to terminate our services for non-payment or other reason as we determine our engagement will be deemed to have been completed upon notification of termination, even if we have not completed our reports. Can that be addressed before we?
We did call him, and I'll let David Science tell you his conversation that he had with Mr. Hernandez.
City Commission, I had the opportunity of speaking with Mr. Hernandez, and I had him to clarify that item in his agreement to me. Mr. Hernandez specified that it is customary to include wording of that nature, and I asked for specific examples of what would constitute that clause in his agreement. Mr. Hernandez specified, for example, if there was a lack of cooperation on the part of the person being audited, because there are many clients that are trying to complete their audits as well. If they were to find an imbalance in the books, that would have to be remedied or balanced before they could continue. He also mentioned that because of the nature of the previous audits that he's done for us and his experience with our previous master director, that he thought that those circumstances or situations would be highly unlikely, but that it was customary to keep that wording in the agreement. He was willing to send me in writing an email as to what that defined, or give me something more concrete, or break it down if need be as to what kind of examples would constitute. But he assured me that in no manner explained or allowed him to just walk away in the middle of an audit. There had to be a very severe reason within his initial findings for him to initiate to walk away and say, you must fix this before I can continue.
Did you review it?
Yes, I did mean
Everything?
well, that specific sentence, that specific language is very clear with what it says, and it doesn't leave the city with any option. In the event he decides to terminate and if reports are not completed, he's still paid in full, and if there's any issue regarding reports not completed, in executing this language, with this engagement letter, it's as if we're saying, we're fine, we're acknowledging the reports are completed, even though they were not. So I don't recommend that we move forward with this language. If you all choose to approve it, I would recommend that you choose to approve it and strike that specific sentence from the engagement letter in the motion. And we can submit that to Mr. Hernandez, and hopefully he'll be in agreement. But no, I don't recommend that we move forward with this language.
Does it specify when we're supposed to pay?
Yes, it's the first billing of $4,500 for each year will be due upon the signing of this engagement letter. And then they'll continue to send them billings throughout the remainder of the year.
Was you willing to remove the language, Mr. Science,
He was open to it. He had me, he wanted me to talk to the commission about what that meant specifically, and if there was a problem with the wording, he said to visit with him and he would reword it so that it would be something that was more acceptable.
Mayor, due to our situation, I request this council to entertain, to approve it pending the wording that will be modified to be approved by our city attorney. Subject to this.
Mr. Mayor, I so move with the provisions that, that language, that specific language be reviewed by our city attorney and possibly be removed from the contract.
We have a motion.
Is that right?
That's correct.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion on this item? Further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Sign, motion carries. Next, business and order is item 6, appointments and membership. Letter A, discussion and possible action to appoint 2 new members to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Reyes and Mr. Milan.
Mayor Commissioners, we do have 2 vacancies with the Planning and Zoning Commission. Several names have been placed into that, and I know Mr. Milan spoke to each one, and they are willing to participate. You have it in your memo. The names that are being considered.
I'm sorry, there's an additional member who didn't make it to the list.
An additional person that's interested, and that would be who?
Derek,
Derek. Derek.
Okay, so, members, commissioners,
There was a question brought up, do the members need to be citizens of Rio Grande? Do they need to live?
live here?
They need to reside in Rio Grande City, it's the language, not charter,
They need to reside?
in Rio Grande City.
Do all these members reside in the city?
Los Altos, oh, our current commissioner. The
When
language
he
is
was-
that you need to reside in Rio Grande City, that's the language in the charter.
These 4 members that you just mentioned, they do reside in the city.
Yes.
No, Mr.
Can-
Scott, if you did, when he was named.
I
Then he
believe
built
when
his
he
house.
was, yeah, the issue with the current, planning and zoning member, Mr. Sullivan, at the time he was appointed, he did reside, and I don't know where he's living now, but this is, that language is true at the time of the appointment, Mayor Pro Tem, so just so you know, so.
Mr. Mayor, may I suggest that we table this item for the next meeting and that we establish residency of our board members and as well as the 4 candidates.
So at this point,
Which is the candidates in question here? I believe that Mr. Salinas, Mr. Gonzalez, and Mr. Trevino all live within the city.
Well, we do have a board member that
And as Mr. Garza, then you want us to come back and kind of like address any,
All board members?
all the board members to see the residency in case, instead of appointing 2, we might have to be appointing 3.
yes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion on this item? The discussion, and just for the record, Ms. Guerrero, what exactly are we needing the motion?
To table the item till the next meeting because it is possible we need to appoint 3 members.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion carries. Next, business and orders, item 7, executive session, chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551071, consultation with attorney, and 551074, personnel matters. The record reflect is 6:50.
Yes, sir. Does that have on 7?
No action.
Anything, no action on item 7, executive session.
Very before we adjourn, I'd like to announce, we did meet with Mr. Ortayala. He is the director for the Economic Development Administration. And it's been an application. We are looking at getting funded in September for $1 million. This will be for the development in front of Walmart. It's for drainage improvements. We are still pushing for additional 200,000 that maybe we can still come up with. And we will be having to meet again to go with our resolution, and try to change the budget showing that it's $1 million and then the additional amount. We're almost there. And FEMA has actually given us notice that within 30 days, they will get us a decision.
within 30 days.
FEMA targeting 45 days.
So 45 days, we have a decision, and hopefully it's favorable for us. But just to reiterate that point, it's $1 million grant for the EDA, possibly $1 million to
Grant, 100%.
100% grant, and to the efforts of many entities. That's great news for Rio Grande City, and of course for development here in Rio Grande City. So with that, any motion to adjourn? Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll say this.
We have a second. Any further discussion on that item? No further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye opposed? Same sign, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.